Hello, it is the fifth generation back again with another clan chat in no particular order because we just don't.
We just can't spell for the life of us.
These names have changed so much over 30 years.
Yeah.
We've got Giovanni, Cappadocian, now Hecata, but we're skipping around from now on.
Yeah, so just know don't expect a rhyme or reason to this. It's just you'll get a clan each week.
Yeah, you're going to get a clan until we run out of clans, and then I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll figure that out. Yeah, when we get there. But today, Randall and I are going to discuss one of my favorite clans. I don't know if they're definitely in my top 5, maybe even my top 3.
They are pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Hecata, the artist formerly known as 5 Other Clans.
Yes.
So what? Let's see. They were Giovanni. Well, they were Cappadocians.
Yeah, the Cappadocians were the first.
Then we got Giovanni.
And then the
Harbingers
of the Skulls. And then the Samdi.
Yeah. And then Maharajas.
Yeah.
The Flesh Eaters.
Yes.
Is that it? Is there another one? Oh, the bloodlines like the Dunsons and.
Yeah, which were like extensions of like the Giovanni. and the and then there was the
I feel like we're missing one.
We are missing one. This is terrible.
If only it wasn't in alphabetical order. Anyway, The Hecata are made up of all the previous clans of death. Anybody that messed around with necromancy and the other editions are now folded up into the Hecata. And they all have this basically, unless you choose to take a bloodline lore sheet, which we can talk about in a minute, but they all have this painful bite. So when they try to feed, they're just going to kill you.
Yeah.
And they're into necromancy and zombies and spirits and rituals.
Yes, and and now you have a little bit more, I guess.
Cohesion?
Well, yeah, there's definitely a lot more cohesion. Because, it's like, I guess really in a way, you can almost say it's really kind of, in a sense, like Clan Cappadocia.
Yeah.
Because the clan's been reunited. And they have, and a lot of the, particular perks, with the Samdi, they had, the rotting, they look like rotting corpses.
Yep.
And it's like, that's not necessarily the way that works anymore.
Yeah, you can look that way if you want to.
Right, right.
So what they've done is they've taken a lot of these bloodlines that were the clans of death and they've made them into lore sheets. So now if you want to be just regular Hecata, you can be. But if you want to be Giovanni, you can get that lore sheet. Or if you want to be fucking Pudinescas, you can get that lore sheet and be crime family people.
Exactly. Exactly. And they also have the option that you could spend, I think it's 4 points, to be able to get the additional discipline of the old school clan as a core.
Yeah.
Discipline.
But their disciplines even now, Ospec. Ospec, Dominate, and
Oblivion.
No, it's Ospec and Fortitude, isn't it?
Ospec's Fortitude and Oblivion.
Because I'm playing a Giovanni, so I've got Dominate on the brain.
Yeah.
But it's not a horrible kit.
No, it's not. It's Fortitude in 5th edition is just sort of blown up. Because Fortitude's just excellent in 5th edition. Yeah,
I just take no damage, or I take no superficial damage. It's just
Fortitude's fantastic as a physical attribute, and it was never bad, but it's it really, I would say 5th edition is easily the strongest Fortitude edition, because both Potence and especially Celerity took a little bit of a power hit, but they kind of needed to.
Yeah.
So Fortitude, it just got nothing but good stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing bad in Fortitude. So the Hecata can absolutely take a beating.
Yes.
And then they've got Ospec, which gives them heightened senses, sense the unseen.
Yeah, premonition.
Clairvoyance, telepathy.
Yeah, scry the soul, all that stuff.
Yeah. So they gain all kinds of information stuff. And then they have Oblivion, which they use a lot differently than the Lasombra use it.
Right. Because with them, it's channeling the powers of the. It's less like manipulating the form of the abyss and more channeling the powers of the abyss to actually affect souls and just the dead.
Yeah. And Kurt and I, Kurt's the owner of Kingmaker, if you haven't caught on by now. We were discussing how in 5th edition, making things like obtenebration and necromancy one discipline. Well, now the storyteller has to be like, okay, well, would a Lasombra take ashes to ashes? Which is more of a Hecata kind of thing, or not? It's like, well...
Yeah. There's a few in there that I think, like, can comfortably... And ashes to ashes, I think, is one of them that can comfortably kind of sit on the fence.
Yeah.
You know, there's others, though. I think one way that I think that Oblivion was handled a little bit more clearly than, like, blood magic.
Yeah.
You know, was because Oblivion has very definite paths.
Yeah.
And the rituals, you know, because, like, if you want to do necromancy, well, you got to have rituals. Or ceremonies, ceremonies. Which is necromancy's version of rituals.
And you have to have a discipline power.
That corresponds to that, as a prerequisite. And so, unlike blood magic, which was kind of like Tremere stuff and Banu Hakim stuff, just kind of like a smash together, and then you can just take whatever ritual you want.
Right.
So the distinctions of their paths like kind of dissolve, which, you know, if you've been listening to our podcast, was like a complaint that I had about, you know, just the way that Banu Hakim were, and it's because it was like, what's the difference, you know?
Right.
And the Tremere ultimately really did nothing special other than destroy another pre-existing clan.
Right.
But necromancy is different.
Right.
Its path is clear.
And you don't see, like I wouldn't, if I was running a game, if I don't run games, if I was running a game and somebody wanted to play Hecata and they were like, oh, I want to take, you know, Stygian Shroud or Arms of the Abyss or whatever, I'd be like, yeah. That's Lasombra.
Yeah. I need a reason for how you would. I mean, like, yes, you know how to contact the Abyss, but you contact it through a totally different lens.
Yeah, it's completely different. Different. Bit of crowbar separation there, and it would be the same if a Lasombra. Now, see, you get into it though, because like Lasombra in other editions had like abyssal mysticism.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be easier for it to go that way. Like Lasombra wanting to pick up some type of abyssal or oblivion ceremony, if they have the right stuff, then it would be for me to go, Hecata can get, you know...
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, because Lasombra's approach to abyssal energies is more broad.
Yeah.
So one of them just kind of like dipping in, wanting to channel in towards something more mystical seems less of a jump.
Right. Then a really specialized one.
Right.
Wanting to branch out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, though I would still say they probably should have like someone who would help direct them.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, but it's it's a little less specific. But at the same time, though, I really think the way they handled Oblivion and its ceremonies was pretty well done. It's definite path. You know, you have your zombie path, you have your wraith path, and then you have your I just manipulate the forces of hell.
Right.
Yeah.
So before we had just the Hecata, where it was like one big happy family, like we mentioned before, we had bloodlines. So like the Giovanni were incestuous necromancers who were involved in, you know, things in Venice and banks and things like that. Do you think the Hecata as a whole are less than like their parts? You think it's better if like, oh well, I'm Hecata, I don't need to be like defined by Giovanni or?
Oh, I think so. I think definitely. I think it's much better this way.
Mm-hmm.
It's well, because this is a clan that can truly be an entire sect to itself.
Yeah.
You could have an entire party of Hecata that could all be something completely different than the person next to them.
Which is really unique. Them and the ministry really.
Yeah.
Can kind of just, they're a sect unto themselves, but the Hecata have...
Hecata take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Because there are multiple bloodlines within a sect.
Yeah.
But still all unified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I going back to previous editions, I really liked the Last Supper, which is it was like if you got it, it was black cover with red lettering, had the Giovanni clan symbol on it, and it was in like you bought a porn because it had like black sleeving. It was like adult content.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
That was dark. Like the Last Supper stuff was some dark stuff where the Cappadocians are being wiped out by the Giovanni, but like the way they marketed it was like, man, Giovanni are so awesome. Now, if you want access to Hecata, now you get the player's guide. But the Cult of the Blood God, that book was really good because it introduces religion, which I think is huge for the Hecata, especially if you're going to play like, one of the bloodlines like Harbingers or
absolutely,
the Samiti, like those ones. Oh, those are so cool. Sam Bandini in our Chicago game, he was Samiti.
Yeah.
He just
almost like a walking Juan Samdi.
Yeah, like he just has a flair about it that the Giovanni don't have. So like tonight, I introduced the character that I'm going to play in Randall's game, because Randall's going to be storytelling soon. Yay! But I introduced my Tessa Giovanni into this game. That she's very just straight business and Donatella Giovanni. I guess Hecata for me are always going to be Giovanni. Mm-hmm. It's very hard for me to divorce the Clans of Death from Giovanni. Mm-hmm. I like all the other ones, but for me, it's always Giovanni.
It's funny you bring it up because it's like that is probably like how most people were introduced to the Clans of Necromancy. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit different because I never really even, honestly, like when I got like the old player's guide.
Yeah.
I never really paid any attention to them. In fact, I really kind of didn't like them. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's Tremere Part 2. So it was, I just sort of waved them off and was like, whatever. But then in the first Dark Ages game I played the Cappadocians. Mm-hmm. And so that gave me like that sort of introduction into their world.
Right.
So it's interesting because it's like for me with the Hecata, I actually affiliate more with the non-Giovannis in it.
Yeah. And I never got into the Cappadocians.
Yeah, so it was like, I ignored them when they were first introduced, and then when Dark Ages came out, it was like, oh, okay. And then like that kind of like opened that door, and I was like, well, this is actually kind of cool. Mm-hmm. The whole Clan of Death thing.
Yeah.
And so it was like, and so then I started getting into it, but it was like, I was still kind of like attracted to like the Harbingers and, stuff like that. So it was like, or the Somni.
Yeah.
So, it was, so I kind of came from the other direction.
Right.
And then when the Hecata came up, I was like, oh, this is great.
It's all together.
Best of all the worlds.
Right.
Yeah.
Largely in 5th edition, they're the same. Like I said, their clan weakness is essentially a painful bite. They've got compulsions of morbidity and wanting to be agents of ending when their clan compulsion kicks in, whether they're ending a life or ending a conversation prematurely or something. So they're. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say, hey, if you're brand new to the game, jump into Hecata. I think that's that can be daunting. But if you've played for a little bit and you don't want to go Tremere and you're looking for like a misty, Hecata's the way to go. I'm with you. I don't cheer by them. My team's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's kind of strange because in a lot of ways it's like there's so many similarities there functionally, but it's like at the same time though, I do have to say like from a purely personal standpoint here, that it's like the necromancy clans just seem a little bit more interesting.
Oh yeah, and like the clan novels. If if you ever have an opportunity, I mean, you can buy them on Kindle for like $2. But the Giovanni clan novel is great.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people consider it like one of the best ones out of the clan novels.
I think that could be a topic too. Which clan novels did you like? But like the Giovanni, the somber one was great. Obviously, I didn't like the Bruja one because who would? But anyways,
that Bruja
hate. Oh man. But anyways, so the Hecata, the Clans of Death, 5th edition. That's basically a shotgun blast of who they are. You know what? I think I'm gonna take a stab in the dark and say maybe next week we'll do Ministry.
That'd be
That's
well, let's go from the one clan that is an entire sect into itself to the other clan that's an entire sect into itself.
Yeah, but with less, broadness.
Yeah. Much more focus.
Much more focus on their own deities.
Yeah.
We don't like Cain.
And the whole canine thing is just like, you jokers just got the whole thing wrong.
Yeah. We don't believe it. Any of yours, but you should believe ours.
Yeah. It's like, you other 12 clans are basically morons. And here's what really happened.
Oh, basically morons. So today that could be another episode too. The stereotypes of the clans. Randall and I were outside reading the old V20. Well, it's not old, but V20 stuff, and the Zamisi stereotypes are just
they had some bangers.
They had some good ones.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say, they're not fond of Toreador. And I can't remember which one they called slow-headed Lomixes, but
that was actually the one we're talking about, right?
The Giovanni. Giovanni.
Yeah.
Giovanni. They're like poking fun at their incestuousness.
Yeah.
The Giovanni are not the Merovingian French people. The Giovanni are more spread out in their incestuousness, I think. Maybe, not first cousins, or brothers and sisters, but definitely second or third cousins, maybe. And the Giovanni are all about the dead too. So there's a
So it's like we're not really making dunks for them right now.
Yeah, no, we're not. Totally not.
Yeah.
Maybe don't play Hecata. Maybe leave that to the professionals.
Yeah, that. Well, I mean, that can take on some darker.
And the Giovanni could get really, really dark. So, all right. Well, thank you as always for listening to Randall and I. Thank you to Kingsmaker, Kurt, and everybody that plays in our various Sundry World of Darkness games that we run here. I don't know. Our Saturday game is. We'll see. They're walking into death.
Yeah, that one's probably over in like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe you'll get another Saturday episode. I don't know.
Yeah, you'll get a quick episode this week.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Randall, as always, thank you for hanging out with us.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, and take care, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.